Chicago Bulls are getting some reinforcements with Zach Lavine and Nikola Vucevic returning to the lineup, although in a limited capacity. Let's talk about what this means for the Bulls and ultimately how this can actually translate into wins right after this. Listen, if you're new to the channel, it's your boy P Kid from the Windy City Breeze. This is just Chicago Bulls Breeze, our dedicated channel for all things Chicago Bulls. Appreciate you all rocking with us. If you could, just hit subscribe. Let's get into this content. We've been on a nice little skid. We dropped 2 games. We've kind of seen that we do need some scoring help. And sure enough, soon as we start to reel, we get 2 stars back. Zach Lavine will be back in the lineup, as well as Nikola Vucevic. Now, what I mean by lineup, I do mean just with the team. They will not be starting, apparently. It looks like they may actually be coming off the bench or rather have a minutes restriction. Whether how that's going to work out is a little different, but this is coming at the appropriate time as, again, we have some other injuries that have piled up, some other questionable players, and again, we just dropped 2 games back to back. It's not a good look. Now, ultimately, this is the Charlotte Hornets, who have played better. They have gotten some people back. They are an up and down team, if you ask me. The Charlotte Hornets are not a team that'll sit there and no one's looking like, oh my God, it's the Hornets, right? No one's actually looking at them as a dominant team, but anyone can get beat in the NBA. And at this point, we can see that if we've already been on a 2-game skid, you want to use this as a great way to bounce back and try to continue getting closer to 500 and continue to close the gap between those teams in a playoff hunt. Now, Zach Lavine has been out since November 28th specifically. He's missed about 17 games, and the injections and everything that he got in his foot and the rest to make sure that there was no inflammation is actually the appropriate thing. This was his right foot, and if you any the research I've done on this particular injury, it'd be very hard and uncomfortable for him to push off. So I understand why he's actually been out so long. I understand why they've actually needed him to rest. So him coming back actually is a great thing. Now, all of this still boils down to 2 things. One, which Zach Lavine are we going to get back? And how does Billy Donovan manage it? Nothing else really concerns me outside of that. I understand that there's some trade rumors and some trade implications that come with his return in how he plays. If he plays poorly, then he's definitely not going to have a market. If he plays well, then yes, not only does that help us potentially translate into wins, that's one of the monikers that's on him now, that he doesn't translate to winning basketball, but it also could help boost his trade stock. So if you are, or even if you aren't a Zach Lavine fan, him playing well helps us as a team. Him playing well helps his trade value. And all of that will help either situation, because now we can start to move off of the narrative and just the distractions that come with it. Now, Vooch coming back is very interesting. I actually want to see what this team looked like without Vooch, just so we can kind of see where things were going. A lot of times when you have to diagnose and try to find out what is the issue with your particular team, not having certain people available, as we saw with Zach for the 17 games, allows other people to step up, allows other things to kind of work in jail. And so I really wanted to see what that would look like. But the simple fact that we again have other questionable people for the day, it makes sense. It actually makes sense to see what Nikola Vucevic, Zach, and DeMar. I think DeMar is a full go as well, and see if that can coexist. Because again, that was a big 3 that was constructed, and that's something that we want to see moving forward. Now, I am not going to sit here and make it seem as if that we should expect this to be a breeze. This is his first game back. Both of them actually after a couple games. But Zach specifically, this is his first game back in over a month. Expect some rust. Expect it to look like a player trying to get his bearings. I expect it to look like a player trying to actually get back acclimated to playing the NBA game. And it's not going to take long, but anyone would tell you when you haven't been playing on that level, it's going to take a game or two. And so I want to sit there and what's the appropriate word? You all know what I'm trying to say. Just curb your expectations on certain things, because while I do want him to play well, I do understand that he's been out for a month. Like the last time we saw him play was not even in the month of December. It was it was November, for God's sake. We're already out the first week of January practically. Give it a game or two, all right, or three. It may be necessary. The good thing about this is we play Charlotte back to back, and not just back to back. We play them Friday and play them Monday. So there's going to be a nice opportunity in between for them to actually have some rest, for him to actually have some rest, rather, and even for Vooch as well. And this will all help toward the end. Now, again, whether you like Zach Lavine or not, this is still good news. But this also gives us a couple more things that we need to be looking at when it comes to the Chicago Bulls team. Now that Zach is back, are the other players going to be less aggressive? How do they sit there and actually play their game? Because one of the things that we can't do is we can't sit there and denigrate Zach Lavine or even Vooch and say that these people are taking away opportunities when realistically we want them to play their games. You have to get in where you fit in around it, or you just have to be you around them. There's opportunity for this team to have 4 double-digit scores. Now, when I say double-digit scores, I don't mean that everyone's going to score 20. Everyone's going to score 30. But if you look around the league, there are several teams who actually have 5 to 6 people averaging double digits, getting good production, putting up good tape, and playing well collectively and within their certain roles, excelling in their roles. That's possible here. This is no different. You look at the Denver Nuggets, it's possible to have 4, 5, maybe even 6 people average close to double digits, which means everyone's getting a shot. You're averaging, we're talking about averages. So that means you're getting the opportunity, you're getting the looks, you are literally excelling in your role, you're playing the role well, and the ball is finding you and you're taking advantage of that opportunity. So it's twofold. I don't want this to be one of those things where Zach Lavine comes back and all of a sudden, oh, now look, P. Will ain't getting no shots. P. Will has to take advantage of his opportunity. P. Will can still average what he's averaging. P. Will can still take advantage of the opportunity because Zach Lavine is going to be on a minutes restriction, 25 to 30 minutes. But again, he can still shine in his role. And so this is one of the things I look forward to, just seeing how this team kind of starts to gel again, because I'm anticipating Zach Lavine to be here to the end of the season if the market is as low as they say it is. I really do. I don't think they should be in a rush to get rid of Zach Lavine. I think that'll be fool's gold to try to do so, but I don't make that decision. So I really want to see this work. I want to see Billy Donovan actually see this work. Use this confidence that a lot of these young players got when they had to step up and now inject that into this lineup now that you get your primary core back and say, hey, play your same game. Just do it with these guys. Like, that's very possible. It is possible for Kobe White, Zach Lavine, and DeMar DeRozan to exist. It is possible. It's possible for Vooch to exist with them. It's possible for P. Will to still be. Bobby Portis is averaging 13 points a game. It's very possible for P. Will to be doing something very similar, if not better. It's very possible. Look around the league, teams are doing it. I want to see it happen in Chicago Bulls jerseys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Whether it's love, whether it's hate, put it in the chat. I'll be in there with you. Till next time. Peace.